Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our next episode of Commerce Unpacked, how to nail marketing on TikTok with our friends over at adQuadrant. While people are starting to tune in, I'll get into some housekeeping items. So don't forget to drop your questions in the chat at the end of Jeremy's session. We'll have a Q&A and go over any questions that you might have about marketing on TikTok or TikTok Shop. This episode will also be recorded and will hit your inboxes tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. We'll also be uploading this to our YouTube channel, so keep your eyes peeled in your inbox if you have any questions or want to review any topics that we cover today. For those of you who are new to ShipBob, we help brands fulfill their orders across all sales channels. So we work with brands of all sizes, providing them best-in-class supply chain capabilities. We help you optimize your operations either in your own facilities, so you can use our warehouse management software at your own sites, or you can completely outsource fulfillment to any of our 50 plus fulfillment centers across the US, Canada, Europe, and Australia. We're trusted by thousands of brands to build a scalable, affordable fulfillment strategy, including Spikeball, Chamberlain Coffee, TB12, Pit Viper, and more. So taking a look at this week in e-commerce, the Port of Los Angeles saw its second busiest January on record this year as shippers continue to redirect supply chains away from the Red Sea and Panama Canal. There's probably some impact from other seasonal factors like Chinese New Year. I know that we were talking a lot with our merchants ahead of this holiday, which started on February 10th and ended actually just yesterday on February 20th. There was a 10-day factory shutdown essentially as people celebrated. So I think a lot of that, or at least a portion of it, contributed as shippers and sellers were trying to get their goods in ahead of the holiday. Walmart is set to purchase TV maker Vizio in an effort to expand its advertising business and compete with advertising giants like Amazon. This one is interesting. So apparently they're going to use this as an effort on one hand to increase in-store ads. 90% of America shops at Walmart every year with 160 million in-store shoppers every week. So they'll be able to increase in-store advertising on screens, and they'll also be able to use Vizio's SmartCast operating system that comes on their TVs to sell ads. So I guess if you are purchasing a Vizio TV, get ready for some Walmart advertising. And finally, Amazon is making a push to reduce packaging. They just announced a program that essentially allows select sellers to ship items in their existing packaging rather than how they currently do it by putting products, like repackaging products into Amazon boxes and mailers. So this is a really cool push from Amazon to improve sustainability by reducing packaging waste and reducing costs by essentially putting things in additional boxes. ShipBob has an exciting announcement. We just added Amazon to our carrier network. We're actually the first 3PL to add this service. We're going to start shipping orders using Amazon's ground shipping service called Amazon Shipping. This is a first of its kind initiative that enables us to use Amazon as a carrier option for domestic shipments in the US. So if you're already a ShipBob merchant, you can automatically get enrolled, making it super easy to get started. But if you have any questions on that program, I will be dropping my email in the chat and you can just shoot me a quick note. But without further ado, I'm ready to get into the episode. I'm excited to introduce Jeremy Fenderson, Senior Director of Client Partnerships at adQuadrant. Jeremy has over 15 years of experience marketing technology, products, and services globally. He's obsessed with all things digital and has a passion for connecting people with products and services that improve their lives. And this is a fun fact. Jeremy's from Lakewood, California, but he's lived around the world in Georgia, Las Vegas, and even in England. So, Jeremy, if you want to hop on stage with me, I can pass the baton over to you.
Lindsay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Excited to share some insights today on TikTok. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. One second. Amazing. So today we're really going to talk about creative insights for TikTok. And I really want to give you a formula, not just a one or two off hack that you can copy now, but a way for you to think about your audience, your data, the content you want to put in front of them, as well as the goals in iterating. So we're really going to unpack a great deal today so that you can be successful on TikTok. And just as a side note, the principles that we're talking about here, many of them can be applied to how you approach creative strategy on any platform. So super excited to get into it. So first and foremost, when we think about our process, we're going to look at a couple of things. We're going to start off with analyzing internal and external data. First, you're going to analyze your customer data. We're going to start off by listening. We're going to look at the comments on our ads, the comments in our reviews, and really we're trying to understand what our customers are telling us in terms of the pain points that they're solving with our product or service, as well as the value that they provide. Does what we offer give them more time or allow them to be more productive? Is there a specific goal that they're achieving with our products that we may not be talking about? The first thing we can do in order to create content that resonates with our audiences is to listen to what they're saying and mirror that back to what we do to help them improve their lives. That's part of the equation. The next part is really going to be looking at reviewing our data. What does our sales data tell us about our customer in terms of the types of products that they're buying, at what frequency, at what stage do they make that purchase decision? There's a great deal of insight we can gain just by looking at who our customers are that have actually made the transaction and grouping them into cohorts to better understand who they are so we can speak to them more effectively. Once we go from internal data, we look at external data. We look at industry reports in terms of how much is my industry growing? What are the innovation trends within my industry? What is consumer behavior telling us? And also, what are competitors doing in our space? This will give us a holistic view of both what our data internally tells us about our customer, as well as what the market is saying about our customer, which should all be fed directly into what our creative tells our customer in order for them to take action. From there, we perform competitive research. We definitely don't want to reinvent the wheel. And because we are not the first to ever advertise or create creative on TikTok, we can stand on the shoulders of our competitors, and we love to do that. So the first thing we can do is to perform a competitive analysis by identifying our competitors using the search feature in TikTok. You can list your top 5 competitors, which you know them by heart, and you can actually search them in the search bar to find their profiles. A pro tip here is not only to look at your competitors, but to also just look at top creators on TikTok, because you can find inspiration in industries that are outside of your own and bring that as innovation into your industry. So list your top competitors, find their profiles on TikToks using the search feature. From there, you're really going to want to analyze their content. How are they posting? When are they posting? Is it unboxing? Is it featuring a specific creator? What is their content strategy? Note those things down, because that's going to be a swipe file you can use later to help with ideation. From there, because you can see their follower count, the amount of views videos get, you want to analyze and assess the engagement of your competitors. What are they doing? What are their most successful videos? And really start to unpack why those are successful. Was it a hilarious skit that they did? Was it a founder story that worked well? Was it a less than high quality video that's really just someone talking to the camera about their experience with the product? Because we have the data at our fingertips, we can really look at what our competitors are doing and really have those be notes for what we need to do next. And in step 2 in this process around performing competitive research is really looking at emerging trends and opportunities. Are there specific trends that multiple competitors are following to find success? Are there opportunities to launch new products because the way customers are engaging with the ads and the content leaves a gap in the market that you can fill? Are there ways for you to innovate in your space, whether creative or product development, or just engaging with your customers that you see your competitors not addressing? All of this information is publicly available on TikTok. If you know how to look and taking these steps, you can make that happen. So competitive research is a big deal. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. From there, you're going to take the insights that you have from your internal data, right? What your customers are buying, what their comments are saying, what their pain points are, and their demographics, and you're going to create personas, right? it on one end, you could look at it and say, I'm going to speak to 20,000 people. And you say, audience, if you're interested in technology, then you should really check out this product. That'll have a certain level of impact. Or you could say, audience, you are looking at this new VR headset that has come out. You have concerns about the price point, and you don't know whether you should purchase the product at its with it being the first generation. A creative concept for that might be, if you're looking to purchase the next VR headset, here are 3 reasons why you could take advantage of it now versus later. That's going to have a different level of performance. But in order to do that, you have to be clear about who you're talking to, what they care about, what their concerns are, how they make decisions, and what's on their mind, right? So you want to go from general content to specific content. And a great way to do that is by creating personas. Now, a brand's going to have multiple personas. So you're going to need to stack rank which ones you want to go after first, second, and third. But the moment you know exactly who you're talking to, what they care about, and what they want to do next, and how you can help them, your creative will become highly impactful as opposed to speaking to the general public. Now that you know who your personas are, because you've looked at your internal and external data, you want to map that to creative concepts, right? You want to think about what type of creative would resonate for this audience that has a specific pain point. You want to tailor your ideas to address their specific motivations and map those together. Again, this takes you from speaking generally to speaking specifically. These are 2 major steps that you can take as building blocks for your creative strategy. From there, you'll have your testing roadmap. You'll have a number of ideas, and we know we can't do everything all at once. So really, you want to plan a set of structured experiments that allow you to uncover which of the value propositions you've identified your customers care about and will resonate with the personas that you've built. You want to do this in a structured fashion using a roadmap. So take your personas, take the ideas and concepts that you would think would work well with them, and you just start to prioritize them. I'm going to test this one first, second, third, and you're really looking to evaluate which of those ideas or concepts will work well. And you're going to use a framework where you start with a hypothesis. If I put this unboxing video in front of this audience, I think that it will drop my CPA by 20%, right? And you want to prioritize those tests based on potential impact. From there, you'll be able to clearly define what structure and what approach you want to take to achieving those insights, and you're going to build over time with that. So create a roadmap. Who am I talking to? What concepts do I want to put in front of them? If I had to put them in order, what order would I put them in? And you'll start to realize what success looks like as you run those tests. From there, you have the persona, right? You have the data to understand what they care about. You have a roadmap of tests you'd like to deploy. One thing that you really want to do is make sure you identify relevant UGC styles for your brand, right? When you show up into TikTok with your content, you want to look familiar. You want to align with everything else you've already put out into the market, but you also want that to be native to TikTok. So here you really want to determine what UGC styles will work best with your clearly defined brand identity, with the products and services you offer, and with the audience you're speaking to as well. You want to also think about what's popular and trending on TikTok right now. So it's a combination of those things. Again, it might be unboxing, it might be how-to tutorials, product demonstrations, green screen. There are a number of options out there, but before you make content, you'll know who you're talking to, what type of ideas are out there, and you want to kind of filter that through what type of UGC content works best for your brand. With those things in mind, you're starting to create the building blocks for a TikTok UGC campaign. You'll know your audience. You'll start to set clear targets. I want to reduce my acquisition cost. I want to drive up more revenue. You're going to choose the UGC method that works best for you based off of the step we just talked about. And you're really going to think about utilizing creators, right? You're going to start to look at what creators mirror the type of communication you want to provide and the style of content you want to provide. There you choose the styles that fit your brand, and you really want to be selective about the talent that you use to really communicate your message. Talent is a major variable in creative. You might communicate the same script, the same setting, the same product, the same offering, and the major variable might be a switch in talent, and that can be the difference between performing above your target and performing below. So think about what I provided to you in terms of the steps to build a TikTok UGC campaign. And finally, you want to meet people where they are in terms of how they think about content, right? You want to understand the formatting and the positioning of the creative that you put in play. Simply, you want to make your content feel like it's native to TikTok, right? So you want to ensure the creative content is optimized for the native experience of TikTok, and formatting pretty basically your video being 9:16 vertical. You want it to seamlessly fit within the TikTok UI, and you also want to maximize the visibility of the content and the message you're trying to put out there. Let's not do things like take content from another platform and bring them to TikTok. You want to create for TikTok, and you want to make sure it fits and it feels seamless as they scroll through their timeline. And when they see your content, they can take action against that content. So definitely make sure it feels native and make sure you create for TikTok. Now, at this stage, you're thinking about, how do I test and optimize? You want to set clear testing objectives. You want to be clear on what numbers you want to impact, what success looks like, and then evaluate success from there. So defining clear KPIs. That might mean a CPA target that you want to beat. You want to have a hypothesis against that. If I show an unboxing video to this audience, and this specific persona, that's going to drop my CPA by 20% because I haven't in the past shown people what it looks like to receive the product, right? You want to conduct very structured tests. We like to leverage A/B tests and experiments where we create variations of the same concept and really look at how each of those different variations perform. You could also A/B test when it comes to your audiences. You might take two different personas and keep the rest of the variables the same and see how those personas react to your content. You really want to control and isolate variables when you test. If we're testing three different things at one time, we can't really see which one had the impact necessary. So it does take a bit of discipline, but as you look at your data with all the information you have, you want to be able to say, I've changed only one variable in this test, and you run that test and see what the results are. There will be more tests to run in the future, so you don't have to do everything at once. And it's more powerful to understand that this singular variable changed performance in a good way or a negative way, and what to do next, versus making multiple changes and having an outcome you can't repeat. The idea here is to create creative that has impact and that can scale. The only way to do that is to understand why something happened and to be able to repeat it. So definitely set clear objectives, be structured in how you test, align it to a persona, and repeat the process. That's how we find success. Now, that was a singular conversation in terms of a persona or two personas and defining the variables we're looking to change. When we look at this at scale, we repeat that process multiple times over and test and optimize. So as you deploy tests, it's not going to be a 1 or 2 or 3 time thing. This is a long game. This is a marathon game. So what you want to do is analyze the test results based off your initial performance. And then you want to identify trends and actionable insights based off your test data, right? You want to iterate and develop more creative based off the results that you have initially. So remember, I isolated the variables and only changed one thing in each of our test concepts. And because we got the learnings back, we can now change a variable. That might be the messaging in a creative. It might be the imagery we leverage. It might be the background color, something as simple as that. It might even be the talent. You're going to have multiple tests running, and you might have insights from each of those tests. But as long as you isolate the variables, you can create this program for test and iterate, complete, and respond, right? Now, I want to show you a couple of examples using this framework that we talked about here. I'll give you two. One was an unboxing video for a premium glassware company. Again, we started with the opportunity. We wanted to target a younger demographic on TikTok, aiming at converting that audience using a native style UGC, an unboxing video in this case. Our solution based on that opportunity was using an unboxing format, showcasing the client's product. They're known for high-end packaging, and we leveraged TikTok's native style to captivate the audience. If you want to create something like this, here are the steps you would take. You would research your audience, which we talked about previously, understanding TikTok trends, You would highlight a unique selling proposition for your product. For us, we focused on the premium packaging and product excitement. You want to plan your unboxing experience. Everything we do in the video is intentional, and you want to also look at maybe competitors and how they do their unboxing to figure out how you start your sequencing. But every move is intentional in our unboxing. And then you want to incorporate engaging visuals. Here we use dynamic shots and storytelling to enhance the viewer. Our results when we did this was we saw ROAS be 96% above our target. The CPA dropped 56% below target, and our CTR was 22% above average. So it worked. Let's look at what this example shows us.
Star Wars fans, this is the collector's edition you haven't seen yet. These are limited edition glasses you could only find at Joy Jolt. Check out the premium quality of these glasses and the collector's box. Each glass features unique Art Deco designs that I haven't seen anywhere else. Plus, they're almost always sold out. So do not wait. Get yours today from Joy Jolt.
You see, that was quick, impactful. It showed the product, it showed the experience, and it worked well with our audience. Let me give you another example.
Star Wars fan.
Here we used green screen UGC. We're working with a premium window covering company, and the opportunity was launching on TikTok. This is their first time being on TikTok. So we followed all the steps we've shown here to get some results. Budget Blind aimed to engage audiences through user-generated content. So we crafted a UGC-style ad showcasing Budget Blind's key value propositions. Design and expertise was one, speedy installation, and professionalism. And we really targeted users who were interested in home design tips, and the ads focused on that niche. If you want to create something like this, you would follow these steps. One, you would understand your audience. For us, we researched TikTok users interested in home design. You want to utilize native trends. We leverage TikTok's native features for dynamic content. And then you want to highlight a value proposition. In this case, we showcase the design expertise, quick installation, and professionalism of Budget Blinds. And you want to tailor your content to your niche. For us, we crafted content specifically for users seeking home design tips and tricks. And when we did this, what we saw was a 69% increase in leads. The CPA dropped 15% below target, and our CTR was 150% above our target. So it worked. Right? I'll show you just a little bit on this video example.
Not enough people talk about the incredible impact that blinds can have on your space. It's seriously a changer. That's why I chose Budget Blinds. They walked me through the entire process and talked me through all of my design choices and style preferences. It was like having my own personal design guru.
Here you see someone kind of walking through both the value proposition, which is in the script, the experience you see visually happening on the background. If you're on TikTok for any period of time, you've seen videos that are similar to this, showcasing the customer's experience. And it's kind of like a friend telling you their experience of what happened using the service. This worked really well when targeting our audience and communicating what Budget Blinds does. And it was a great success because they're on a new platform, reaching a new audience, communicating based off of what the users are interested in, i.e. home design, and it beat the targets. So if you follow this formula, you can see similar success if you go step by step.
Not enough.
So if we wrap this up, there's a game plan that I've talked you through as we look through this presentation. If you follow these steps, you can be successful when we're creating content on TikTok, but it doesn't start with the platform. It starts with your data, understanding your customer, creating content that resonates with them, and then deploying and testing against that. If I walk through these steps quickly, because this is the game plan we want each and every one of you to follow, you want to analyze your internal customer data. What are they saying? What pain points do they have? What value do they look for? What are they experiencing? You want to look externally, analyzing industry reports and where the opportunities are, where you can innovate. You want to perform competitive analysis. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Competitors have done that for you. Let's look at what they're doing and then use that as a cheat sheet for where we need to start and iterate. You want to identify emerging trends and opportunities. TikTok moves fast. You want to be able to keep your finger on the pulse so that you can move as well. You want to develop personas. We don't want to speak to everybody. We want to speak to a singular person and have our content resonate with them, right? We want to map our personas to creative concepts based on who we know, what their motivations are. We want to stack rank exactly what our concepts are and start to marry those together. Once we stack rank those, we should be able to develop a roadmap for testing. We can't do everything at once, so let's prioritize and roll down the list. We want to identify relevant UGC styles for your brand. We want to make sure it sounds like us and we're familiar based off of everything we've put into the market. And we want to ensure that we create authentic and engaging content. Based on having that content, we want to optimize to make sure our content is native to TikTok so that the experience feels familiar and comfortable. We'll set targets on how we want our creative to perform, and we're going to analyze and repeat the process. This is how you create winning content on TikTok, and to be honest, on any platform. Back over to you, Lindsay.
Awesome. Thank you. This was really informative. I do have a few questions that I want to jump into with you before our time is up today, but you talked about creating native ads. As someone who is admittedly on TikTok a little bit too much, I love when you can't tell that someone's actually advertising something to you and it just looks like they're showing off, you know, a cool outfit that they just got. Or I think that I am in this budget blinds segment that you guys created. I've definitely seen a few of those and just showing off like how you can elevate a room. So I have to ask, what's your favorite TikTok trend that you've seen or one that's resonated and maybe actually led to a purchase for you?
I think my favorite one is where somebody starts with a story, right? They're talking about, for me, I'm really heavy into productivity. So they'll start with a story about how they struggle to be productive, and we all have those things. Procrastination is something we all struggle with. So something that's very relatable and human. And then through that story, they talk about something that they found, right? It might be a Notion template or a new app that's out there. And then they talk about their experience and how it helped them. And even being a marketer, I know what's happening at this moment, but because they've leveraged story and they've talked about something that resonates with me and something that I struggle with, I end up taking action on that because although I know I'm being marketed to, it seems like it could solve a challenge that I'm having. Those are my favorite because you see the movie playing out, but you still take action because you think it can help you. Those are my favorite ones.
Definitely. No, I completely agree. I feel like TikTok makes it more, especially when you're following people who are technically influencers, but really resonate with you and can connect with you on that level. It makes it more of a real experience and definitely gives you tools that you can help level up in other areas. Cool. Everyone talks about, next question, everyone talks about how to reach Gen Z. I mean, Gen Z is really powering TikTok, but we talked before a little bit about how you and I don't fall into that category. So I'm curious how do these strategies change when you're trying to reach other generations that are now starting to adopt TikTok more than just the younger, kids in high school or college?
100%. It goes back to kind of that first part of the presentation, which is identifying who you're speaking to even before you get to the platform, right? So what are your customers talking about? What are the pain points they have? And what influences their decision-making? What are their motivators? If you start there, TikTok ends up being a distribution channel for you, right? Real, amazing, authentic, useful content is going to resonate with your audience. They'll just happen to find you on TikTok. So whether you're a millennial, Gen Z, whichever category you want to put someone into, if we start with understanding and listening to our customer base, speaking that language is going to resonate, whether on TikTok or anywhere else. So I start first with the customer, then think about the platform.
Definitely. And this leads to my next question. What impact do you think TikTok Shop has on introducing these new audiences to your products?
I think it's making it really easy for somebody to transact. It's seamless. They take away a lot of the barriers to entry, and they're also ensuring that the brands that take advantage of that functionality are front and center, right? The experience is definitely one where customers who may not have seen your brand before, customers who need someone outside of the brand to talk about the product in a real, unfiltered, unpolished way can see that. And they kind of take away any worries about kind of shipping, things of that nature. It's a very top-notch experience. And I think it's a major opportunity for brands who are willing to take advantage of it, to reach new customers. And on the brand side, reaching new customers, leveraging creatives, creating a creator flywheel where thousands of people are talking about your brand just makes sense, especially in a world where content plays such a big role. On the other side, for the customer, there's not a lot of barrier to entry. Shipping is taken care of in terms of being seamless. It's already in the app. The purchase experience is fast and free flowing. I think it's one of the major opportunities in 2024.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jeremy. This was an amazing session. Like I said, these recordings will hit your inbox tomorrow. Jeremy, if you want to leave your email in the chat for people to get connected with you, that would be awesome. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. And Jeremy, thanks for taking the time this morning to share your pro tips on navigating marketing on TikTok.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Bye.